welcome to everyone tuning in live on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Maddie Whittle. I'm a member of the programming team at Film at Lincoln Center, and I'm really excited to kick off this inaugural event in our summer's virtual edition of the Film at Lincoln Center Free Talks series, which is a series of in-depth conversations that we host year-round, usually in our theaters, but this summer, given the current events and circumstances with COVID-19, we're shifting it into the virtual realm. So we're really excited to be kicking it off this way. First of all, I want to thank our members, patrons, and audiences who've continued to support the work that we do year round, even through these unprecedented circumstances that we find ourselves in. You can check out our website, filmlink.org, for information about our virtual cinema programming and other initiatives that we're developing during the course of our theater closure, including more of these virtual free talks, which will continue to take place regularly throughout the summer. More information on those is going to be announced soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. I want to give a special thanks to HBO, the presenting partner of our free talks throughout the year and in this virtual edition. And just want to add that if you're watching live on YouTube at any point in the conversation, you can submit questions in real time via the comments, and the moderator will select some of those audience questions to include later on in the conversation. So I'm really delighted to present the event that you're about to see, celebrating this weekend's release, virtual theatrical release of Tommaso, which we premiered in the FLC Virtual Cinema this past Friday. Quickly, I'll introduce the talk participants and then I'll let them have at it. Our moderator is Sean Baker, a director, screenwriter, producer, editor, cinematographer, whose most recent film, The Florida Project, screened in the New York Film Festival in 2017 and featured the star of Tommaso, Willem Dafoe, in an Oscar-nominated performance. And the star of our talk today is Mr. Abel Ferrara, the writer, director, and actor who's known for his iconic and iconoclastic films, including Ms. 45, The Driller Killer, Bad Lieutenant, King of New York, 444, Last Day on Earth. We're really thrilled to be opening his 28th feature, Tommaso, which is really one of his most personal films to date, and I'm sure that the talk will get into some of that. And finally, we're really lucky, as a sort of bonus, to be joined by Tommaso co-stars Christina Chiriac and Anna Ferrara, both of whom I believe are with Abel in Rome, and they'll be joining the conversation soon. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn the floor over to Sean and Abel, and please enjoy.
All right.
Thank you,
everybody. Going to jump in with Abel in just a second, but I just want to first off say I want to personally thank everybody who's tuning in and who has screened Tommaso already or are planning on screening the film in virtual theaters. The film is being released by Kino Lorber, so you can go to Kino Marquee, and on the website there's a list of theaters you can support by watching this film, and of course, major shout out to Film at Lincoln Center, who is hosting this event and is one of the virtual theaters that you can support by watching this film. Supporting virtual cinema right now is helping real theaters survive during these trying times. And we all want to go back to the movies, but we have to wait, and we're fortunate enough to have these sort of platforms to keep cinema afloat right now. So I am just incredibly honored once again to speak to one of my heroes. Abel, you are a hero of mine. I've been a fan of yours since Driller Killer and 45.
Don't embarrass me. Yeah.
No, but I was in film school when both King of New York and Bad Lieutenant hit the theaters, and both films just left indelible impressions on me, and it really influenced my work. So, and I've followed you. I think I've seen every film you've made, except for maybe the ones that haven't been made. But I love Tommaso. I think it's such an achievement. As Maddie just said, it seems like your most personal work. Willem is incredible in it. He truly is immersed in this role, and I just could not take my eyes off of him. He was absolutely wonderful in this. And so congratulations on this film, on this.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
And Matt Zoller gave you an incredible review in,
Yeah,
on Ebert.com, where he
Right.
literally wrote, "If this film were a person, I would risk my life to save it." That's quite an endorsement. But I think what everyone's seeing in this
Don't
movie,
embarrass me. Yes.
well,
Yeah, that's
I'm
quite
gonna shut up and I'm gonna let you talk now. But I think that what he saw in the film and what a lot of people are seeing in the film is this intimacy that most films aren't able to capture. And it's so, most, we always strive to be objective, right? But your film has such a subjectivity to it that it really, it's special. It's very different from a lot of other films right now. It has a gaze, which I think is something that, again, people are trying to avoid right now. But I think it actually is something that, if done right, can really be effective. And I think your film does that. So now, after all that, I just have to ask you the boring origin story. Could you please tell me a little bit about how
No, go
it
ahead.
came about?
That's the question. Give me some specific questions. Yeah.
Oh, well, just when,
What
tell me
came
how
about?
the
How
film
what
came
made you
about.
want to
Like,
shoot the film? The idea?
yes.
Where these ideas come from, who really knows? I mean, you start seeing images, you start thinking of things. You're wondering if it's just a daydream or it might be something. We're working on a film called Siberia, which was kind of a bigger project, and we had to finance it, and it took a real while to get it which we've ended up shooting. And actually, the preparation is in the film. So anyway, we shoot documentaries, and this is basically our documentary game, But my life with Christina is pretty dramatic, and I mean, any relationship is usually very dramatic. And the idea that maybe while we're planning this humongous thing, we could do something which is pretty much cha 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 mom. Okay, which is pretty much how we work. I mean, I work with the things right close to me, what's around me. We always shoot the neighborhood. We shoot the events that's going on, whether there's a story to it or not. So as I started thinking of these events and these scenes and how they could, like, I don't know, coming out of Pasolini, which is, a film about a Roman director, and then we're shooting the hood. And then I'm thinking maybe we could do this, start putting the scenes together, and that's how it came about.
Nice. If you don't mind me asking, how autobiographical is it? Would you mind going into that at all? How
what?
How autobiographical, self-autobiographical is the film? How much of it is based on your real life? How much are Tommaso's experiences in the film parallel to yours personally? Do you mind talking about that?
No. I mean, in a sense, every film is autobiographical, right? I mean, every film is going to relate to you, whether you're creating characters or, we come up with somebody out of the blue, Ray Ruby of Go-Go Tales, which me and Willem just kind of created out of nowhere, or Pasolini, who existed, or myself. So some of these things are real, but once you start putting them on paper and explaining to another person, and then you start creating them through the camera, events that could be real now change. They change. Right. My perspective of them changes because they're now an element of a film I'm making.
Right.
So no matter how real something might have been or not real, and then that's really basic what films are about. Like, what's the truth? What's not the truth? What is it? Siberia, we try to get into more. What's a memory versus a dream? What's the reality versus what your perception of that is? And I think that's in Tommaso too, but even the basic nature of it, an event could be real. My memory of an event is going to shift. Once we start getting people in front of the camera playing it and we're shooting it, now we're making a movie,
Yes. Right.
you know? So now it's an event in front of a camera happening to
Right.
another person, you know? And no matter how close Willem is to me and how well he knows Christina and the baby, it's still, it's the kid. Tommaso trumps anything that, you know, all of us, because he's demanding what he needs to have. Right? When a film works, I see this movie, I'm seeing Tommaso. I don't see my life. I don't see Willem. I see, wow, look at this guy. I mean, thank God. I mean, you know, then and that's what people relate to the movie. I mean, that's what I would do.
That character, was it a character that how much of it was on the page and how much of it did you and Willem, I'm talking about the Tommaso character, actually develop in the process of making the film?
You know, he doesn't talk about character. I don't even talk about these things. You know, we talk about the events and the specific.
We froze there for a bit.
Are you know, they're written as much as they need to be. Am I still frozen here? Oh,
No, you're back.
I know.
You're back.
I'm back.
That's
Okay, so
they're written as much as they need to be. And is there a lot of, and you do a lot of improv on set, right?
He was in a more improvisation. Well, improvisation sometimes are. You know, mind just going there and letting it fly. You know, he, you know, wants to have his, you know, certain beats in there, but he was very improvisational on this because he understood that, you know, he got it.
Right.
And I guess because of the knowledge he has of the material and knowing what it is. So in certain instances, yeah, we have dialogue, but then he's acting with real people in real situations. I'm not going to give those people lines because they're saying what they normally say anyway. So, you know, he doesn't need that. We're just trying to keep the situation real. And in certain places, I'll tell him a story of what happened, and he'll, you know, he's a theater actor. He's got that memory. You know what I mean? He could perform long takes based. You know, he could just fucking do it. You know, he's like, you work with him, you know it. You keep that camera running, he's still rolling. You know, he brings his theater game to it, or let's say that marathon game that a theater actor could have, who's used to getting up there and giving 90 minutes. So they're going to be on. It's not like we can do this bit and that bit and this piece and that piece. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I was in a similar or the same situation where I was putting Willem in scenes with first timers and non-professionals, and to see him, he's the conductor at that point. You know, as a director, you sort of just have to step back. Because he knows the destination, he's keeping the non-professional and the first timer, you know, on board and focused. Not everything is going to work, but we know that there's going to be those moments where, you know, he connects with that first time actor, and that first time actor is getting it. So yeah, I totally see that.
You know, he has a lot of sensitivity. You know, I mean, that's his ability. I mean, Christina could talk to you more about it, but on the other side of it, you know, the best person to direct is the other actor, right? I mean, he's staring right in the face of the person. Plus, he's given the vibe is happening right there, and he's given that to them. So,
and if you're lucky enough to have somebody like Willem who has, you know, that skill, that's such a gift to a director, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a bit about, you know, you said that all films are autobiographical, and it's true. And I've been seeing the theme actually with all of your films. I've looked back over your filmography to prepare for this, and I noticed that almost every one of your films is about somebody, usually a man, usually an artist, on the edge, like literally on the
The
verge,
the edge of
on
what?
the edge. But most,
The edge of what?
well, that's the thing. It's plummeting into the darkness, right? But your characters often fall off that edge. They often plummet. Except this film is one of the few films in which it's about hanging on. It's about not letting go and not plummeting. And I think that's what's really interesting about this one. That sets it apart from your others. I mean, looking back at Driller Killer, he loses it at the end. I mean,
Right.
and I can just keep going on.
Right.
But I think this one is very interesting in about how much you focus on the hanging on element of sobriety. And I think that bringing us into that NA room is so important. I mean, I think I've talked to you about this. I've had my substance use issues. I'm very familiar with NA rooms, and you really captured it perfectly. And I was just wondering, actually, was that a real NA meeting? Were those real NA members?
Well, it was an AA meeting. It wasn't an
AA
meeting,
I'm
but,
sorry. Okay.
yeah, whatever, Yeah.
And
I mean, it's a real AA meeting, but it's not a documentary because we can't bring the cameras there. So
Right.
we use the space, and some of the guys and women who are actors. Some of them are actors. Some of them aren't. And so it's the same thing. Is it real? Well, we're not shooting a documentary. I'm not putting cameras on. We're not hiding cameras.
Right.
We go into that space, and now we're shooting a movie.
Yes.
Okay, even if it's subtle of, flagging the lights off the walls, moving the thing around. The cameraman is there. We're shooting. So now, because it's a fine line about anonymity in that.
Exactly.
And that line, we might have crossed that line, but I mean, as a filmmaker, I don't know. I chose to do it, but we cleared it with the people, and everybody was cool.
Of course. Well, if they were
It's a fine line, but it's definitely fine. But all those things are fine line. Pushing the baby to the situation we did in that's a fine line. Willem doing his practice. You can't be, I mean, that's my practice too. You don't be using that practice to show your teacher, the stuff he's doing. You're not supposed to be filming that. You know what I mean? So
it's hybrid filmmaking. It's blending fiction and docu. And I think that you did it perfectly in this film, because I didn't see the edge. I mean, I didn't see the seams.
Right.
I don't know when it was real and when it wasn't. You just spoke about your daughter there, and that scene, I don't want to give any spoilers. I don't want to throw spoilers out there, but there's quite a dramatic scene where your daughter is obviously being affected by the drama in the scene. How, as a father, did you, and director, do you direct that scene and protect your daughter and make sure that?
The deal is, I'm not going to get anyone to play her. First of all, she's I think, I'm her father, so I think she's great, but she is great, right? And I'm not going to get somebody to play, and I wouldn't do it to another kid's child. The fact is, she's been in 3 movies. It's the family business. It's the family business. This is it. So we do it once. Yeah, of course she's freaked out by it. Okay. And I wasn't going to do it. We had to do it twice. She didn't want to do the second one. She usually does 2 takes. She'll give you 2 takes, and then she's not going to do any more. She didn't want to give the second one. That was like a one and only, but we can't. Christy, come here. Bring her here a second. Hold on. Come here.
We're about to meet Anna Ferrara.
Christina. Yeah, come on. You get here. We're going to bring Anna too. He's talking about the scene with outside on the screen.
Okay. Here's Christina. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Good.
You're absolutely wonderful in the film.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Very moving performance. Very powerful performance.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the scene with Anna, how we did that scene with William and with the lamp. Well, we did like 2 takes. One we did one take, and she freaked out a little bit because she always would see William so like her padrino, very nicely and gentle, and then he would scream like out of the blue. So then she said, no, I don't like it. Why is he screaming? So she would not understand. And we would tell her it's not reality, it's just for the movie, just for the camera. It's like not real. He's not mean, he's a good man. So she did it another time, and that's it, because she couldn't do it more. Yeah,
I've shot similar scenes in films where it's basically a take and a half, 2 takes at the absolute most.
Yes.
Yeah. We in the film I made before Florida Project, we had a crying baby at the end of Tangerine, and we got 2 takes.
You
and
can.
that we had our actor just pretending he was holding a baby and never.
You can't push them. You can't push them. It's like it's something that it's not cool to push something like that.
But she's there. She had you right there, and obviously Abel behind the camera.
Yeah, but she anyway.
How did the neighborhood react? Because it seems very guerrilla.
Oh man, they would come up the windows and staring like, what happened? Why is everything? So we're living in a building of 5 floors, yeah? So a student or something like this, she was like English, I think, from the 3rd floor, she saw this happening, but she didn't understood we're filming with the camera. She comes, outside, and like she really understood that William really would hurt me. So she was so scared. Is he did something to you? I'm gonna call the police. I said, no, we're filming it. He did nothing. Don't worry. She absolutely was convinced that William would, hurt us and something happened. Like because from the windows you cannot see Peter with the cameraman really, because he's moving like, so you could not see a proper camera. So he would move like that. So people would not understand, why is he shouting? Where is the camera? So they thought it's for real. Some people thought it's for real. And
well, as a guerrilla filmmaker, I absolutely love that. And it's something that I'm always, as I move forward in my career, it's like just this desperate, I want to get back to that place. So when I was watching that scene, I was so envious. I was so envious of what you guys did.
You wanna go back to the simplicity of how it was before.
Exactly. And as you become a little more, I guess, as your profile goes up, as you become higher profile, suddenly you're dealing with more money, suddenly you're dealing with unions, suddenly you're dealing with a lot of rules, and it for some reason it becomes hard to return to that.
Too complex.
Exactly. It's sometimes stripping things away and just going old school guerrilla filmmaking. Becomes run and gun way of doing it, seems impossible. You're told by producers, you're told by the Hollywood industry, your agents, that you can't do that anymore. And I love the fact that Abel is still doing it. That's why he just continues to be so inspirational.
I know, for me too. Yeah. For me too, and that's why I agreed. If wasn't for, if it would be like a normal movie with, normal rules, and everybody would tell me, Christina, do that. I don't know if I would have give this performance that I give, because it was very real, very, very rough, very natural, very simple, very basic, without any artificial, without too much.
Right.
less.
Right.
So that's why I come from, because I'm coming from like countryside in Moldavia with nobody knows and small. So I'm coming from that place, and for me it's that life. So that's why maybe, you know, even I have this union with Abel, that, you know, we're kind of old souls and old schools, and maybe, you know, and people see that, feel that it's for real. It's not like we're bullshitting, make believe something, you know, it's really trying to.
I love that.
So
I know that you and Abel are very close with Willem and his partner Giada, right? You live in the neighborhood, and you're pals. So that I know you have that already close relationship. So it must have been very interesting to shoot some of the more intimate scenes with you. For example, with you and Willem. Being the fact, I would almost think it's easier with a stranger than to do an intimate, you know, semi-sex scene with a friend and have your husband direct.
Oh, that's even better. That's even better.
But how was it?
Listen, it's basically, you know, I would have think that too. I would agree with you. But when we did this, it was even more simpler, because we understand that William, the only true actor from the whole movie, is William.
Okay.
And we are all normal people.
Okay.
So he has this ability to be flexible with all of us in every different way. So with me, I am looking at him not as William, not as friend. In that moment, I'm not Christina. In that moment, he's not William. We're not neighbors. For me, it doesn't count. You can be my husband. You can be my brother. It doesn't matter. In that moment, in this scene, we got to do this, and we're going to do the best we can.
Right.
Without any involvement, without any. Even if Abel is in front of us and telling us, do this, do that, Peter is there.
Yeah.
So,
well, you got to that place. I mean, it's obvious. It's by watching the film.
You know, when you really are artists, and you are really are open-minded person, without any rules, without any, you know, established things in your mind, but you're just flexible, you're open to anything, to anybody. So in that moment, I'm a woman. In that moment, he's a man. It's a scene. And Abel just gave us some rough, you know, things that we can do. But we did that scene like improvised. He said those things, I reacted in that way. He looked. So it was really easy. Oh man, it was so easy for me. I don't know why, but with William, for me to be with William is very easy, because he's a very flexible gentleman, and he's very concerned about the women. So he's really helps. But you know, in this movie, Abel and William really helped me. Without them, I would be like a lost kid. So they really helped me. Abel and William and Peter, three, you know, experienced men.
Right.
They really helped me. You know, they really took care of me. Well, so I must think
your performance is one of a seasoned pro. So congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm a big fan of yours. You know that.
That's very nice to hear. Cool. Well, I'm going to ask actually Abel some questions that were sent in via tweets. I sound like an old man. Twitter.
Yes. Okay.
And so from some of the fans out there who would like to know about the film. So Abel, I'm going to ask you some questions here.
Yeah. Beauties are gone.
From a David S. actually. Would a movie like Tommaso have ever existed with an actor other than Willem Dafoe?
Well, a different version of it, I would say.
Okay. So it wasn't written with him in mind.
Yeah, I mean, they're all written with him in mind. I mean, we're working together on Siberia, and then he was definitely, right now, he's always in my mind.
How many times have you worked together?
I don't know, 6, 7.
Wow.
We did what? New Rose Hotel, Go-Go Tales, 444, Pasolini. This one, Siberia, I guess 6.
Incredible.
Then he's in the documentaries. He's in the documentaries too. So. But he's the godfather. He's a baby, the godfather to the baby.
Right. Oh yes. Oh, okay. And you two live right across from
He
one?
lives right. He lives here. Can you see out this? Can you guys see outside?
Yeah, yeah.
There's Rome, baby. Okay. He lives over behind that little monastery here.
Wow.
He's right over there.
Excellent. Okay, well, here's another question for you from Lily. When watching Tommaso and his struggles to finish Siberia, the docudrama style of your film some manifestation of your own feelings about the passing of structured fiction filmmaking? About the passing of
structured film. Well, we were putting together a very structured film, so it's like we did this and then we did that, so I don't, it depends on the ideas and how it plays, so for me, I always bring the same thing to the movie, but a movie like an idea like, well, let's see if we could come up with Tommaso. Obviously we're shooting here, it's right in front of us, we could do it for, the budget, we did it on the schedule, we did it. Then you have the same idea when you're sitting and writing. The ideas, they all cost the same, man. When you're writing them.
Yes.
But if you're dreaming them up, then with Siberia we had to go to because we're shooting in the desert and we're dreaming of mountains and fighting bears and all kinds of crazy shit. And if you want to stay true, but I really wanted to. Realize that film, I knew I had to realize the struggle to get the money, and sometimes it's easy to get more money. But rule of thumb, the more money you need, the more of a bitch it is. But so during that process of putting that gig together, and I mean, Siberia is an out there crazy film also, but
more money, more
financing.
Siberia is your biggest film in a while in terms of budget, right?
Yeah, it was like the Welcome to New York, Pasolini. It was like that budget. Welcome to New York, Pasolini, Siberia.
Okay.
And then there's Tommaso 444, the movie we're gonna do. And underneath that is the documentaries. So we got like 3 levels of.
I love that you do that. Some filmmakers feel that there's no other way but to constantly increase your budgets. I love the fact that you have this. You can go back and forth, different size budgets, different scales. Yeah. Let me ask about Peter Zeitlinger, your DP, because this film has a different look for you. I feel you always have moved the camera, like one of the most way back. Even I remember seeing Body Snatchers in the theater and saying, I don't think there's one shot that isn't moving in this film. But this film has a different movement. This film has a searching, like this sort of, like, I would say, it's floating. It's floating, trying to find things, and very much like, I believe, you know, it's paralleling Tommaso's life and his, you know, his thoughts. He's searching. He's trying to find something. Tell me how that aesthetic came to be. Was it you and Peter?
Because the aesthetic is the you know, A, the confidence in everybody, B, the you know, the ability Peter has, you know, and we never worked together before. I, you know, knew his work, he knew mine. We're finding the movie as Willem's finding it with these actors. He's finding it with the camera. You know, I mean, he's finding how we're going to do it. We're not setting up shots in your, you know, with the moving camera usually. I mean, and it just arrived at that because we started off, I wanted a dolly because, you know, we got these floors here, right? So you see these floors.
Right. Oh, we lost Abel. Maybe he pressed the wrong button while showing us his floor. As soon as he comes back in, I'll continue. But just for those people who don't know out there, oh, he's coming back. Peter Zettlinger, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, but he shot a lot of films for Werner Herzog. And very interestingly enough, he shot the reimagining of Bad Lieutenant, Herzog's Bad Lieutenant. So it's an interesting collaboration there. And we were talking about hybrid filmmaking earlier. Well, Peter's work with Herzog is all about that, right? You know, having shot both his documentaries and also his narratives, which combine, you know, the elements of narrative fiction filmmaking and docu filmmaking. Looks like I'm all alone right now. Or maybe I'm the one. Maybe it's waiting on Abel to return. Okay. It's not my Wi-Fi. It's Italian Wi-Fi, not US Wi-Fi. I don't have anything for you guys right now. Okay. You know what I should have done? I should have put a Bad Lieutenant poster up on the wall. That's what I should have done.
All right, you got me back here.
Okay, great. You're back.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to show you. All right. So the bottom line was like a fool. We had I wanted a dolly. We had the dolly. He had the rig of the Arriflex. You know, we had all the high-end equipment. Okay. And then before we even started the dolly, we knew we weren't going to use that. Okay. Even though the floor was a gimme. A floor like this, you're going to roll anywhere, right? You don't need track. So in my classical way of thinking, you got a floor like that, put the fucking wheels down, right? It's a gimme. Yes. But we didn't do it. So then he had the rig, that special rig for the Arri, which is all high-end, top, you know, state-of-the-art shit.
Right.
As he's shooting, as we're moving, and he's, you know, again, this is his ability, his talent, who he is, based, you know, from all the work he's done. A lot of documentaries, a lot of features. Willem, who has a second nature with a camera, that a lot of actors don't have. So he's got he's got the theater game going where he could go, but he's also got, because he's been, you know, it's a technique. You learn it.
He's aware. He's aware of the camera. Definitely.
He knows where it is, and he knows it in such an instinctual level that now we could do scenes. Dude, we were doing scenes that were 30, 40 minutes long. Okay. I'll tell you a scene, and this is my favorite. This is my favorite scene of the movie. Yeah. And to me, it's the whole movie.
Okay.
Christina's at the park. We just seen him playing around in the car with that chick, right? Mm. Okay. He comes, he goes by, and he sees the guy, you know, that he's imagining her with. But the guy's having coffee, you know what I mean, in the neighborhood. Okay. So, you know, the general rule of thumb is this. You're cheating on your old lady, you can rest assured she's cheating on you, okay? He comes to the park, she's sitting there. It's like the end of, say, Act 2 of the film.
Right.
He comes to her. The baby's there. The baby's kind of playing around. They sit there, they look at each other. They don't say anything to each other. It's such a beautiful moment. The baby runs because she was 3. they run only instinctually as far as they can before they have to make sure that, you know, mama's watching or papa's watching, you know, and you see the baby running, finding her freedom, but she turns around because she needs him, and we got the shot of those two.
Yes.
And you know they're both cheating on each other, and the baby still needs him. It's magnificent. Well, when we shot that, we did the scene with the girl in the car. He went in the subway with Zeitlinger. Now Zeitlinger doesn't have the rig anymore. They've got some kind of Chinese camera with an Arriflex lens. They're basically inventing equipment now.
Nice.
You know, with his Arriflex lens taped on it. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But he's hiding it. He's on that subway. He's following Willem. He followed Willem from one subway stop to another. Out the subway. We got all that subway shit. Walked all the way to this house.
Yeah.
Willem is going to come upstairs. She's not here. He calls her. She's at the park. Meanwhile, I'm in a taxi cab. I don't know where the fuck these guys are. I'm trying to get back finding them. They go to the park and they shoot that exquisite scene, to me, perfectly. I wasn't within 5 miles of that. You know, I wasn't within a mile of it. You dig what I mean? And that's the karma of, no, but that's the karma of just the flow of the film going. And you got Peter and he's following him. The other guy's there. They're shooting. The sound guy is with them. You know, so that's kind of shit.
That must have been a trip as a director to watch it back and see what you got, having no idea.
Because, you know, again, too, with that camera, when we do those scenes, even like he goes down, you know, those are, you know, you talk about Body Snatchers. With Body Snatchers, it was Boyan Bazelli, who shot King of New York. It was a brilliant deal.
Yes. Oh, boy, he froze again.
It just, you know, like the rig that kind of, we could follow. It wasn't a steady cam. You could follow it on the dolly, but we would take all day. But this was a Warner Brothers film. We had unlimited. We shot $20 million in Selma, Alabama. It was equivalent of a $50 million movie.
Right.
So we were doing shots with a crew of 24 people. Okay. Complex shots, hitting marks, lights on faders.
Yes.
Like rehearse, these people didn't even know we were doing this. You couldn't even do this today. We would rehearse all day, one shot, wait till the sun was going down, and then shoot it. I mean, it's the same way of working, right? Yeah. Now we're getting the same quality movement with him with this camera. So they're here. He's looking out the window. He's following. He goes to the baby's room. He comes back. They get on a fucking elevator together. And Peter's a big guy. I don't know how they even fucking did this. They go down the elevator. Now he's in the back of the guy.
Right.
He's doing that with a camera. Where the fuck am I going to be? You dig?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And you're using these jerry rig cameras, dude. There's no assist. There's no tent with 6 fucking monitors and all that bullshit. It's like Driller Killer, or it's actually Bad Lieutenant. We never had monitors on that one either. It was like they're shooting. This is old school. They're shooting, and we don't even have time to even watch the dailies because we shot this whole film in like 12 days.
Hey, that's sometimes there's that magic that comes from that. You know,
you're freeze.
It's not the instantaneous, you know, I kind of like, I am actually trying to make a film right now in which I don't have playback on set because I kind of want to be surprised by what I see the next day in dailies. You're frozen right now, but when you come back, can you hear me, Abel?
Yeah, you are too. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Figure it out. You're trying to make a film now, and talk a little bit about the film you're doing, because he's telling me you're out in the middle with a bunch of junkies in the middle of the, you know. Are you allowed to say this or no?
Well, I don't know if I want to go into detail right now, but I am also developing a film with Willem that unfortunately was put on hold because of COVID. So we'll probably be shooting next summer instead of this summer, and I may be shooting.
Yeah, but then stop with the probably, bro. You're gonna make this film.
This film means everything to me. It's about drug use.
Yeah, no, it sounds great.
A biggie for me, but so I think I'm going to make a smaller film in the interim, and that's why I'm so fascinated by your process on Tommaso, because I want to go I want to go
Is Willem going to be in that?
I want to go.
Is Willem going to be in a smaller film?
Actually, no, this is not Willem, but because I don't think, again, this is like now during these times, you know, your footprint has to be minuscule in order to make anything right now. So, and also, you know, safety is a big concern.
You got to keep the actors alive, man. You got to keep everybody alive. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I'm not going to fly Willem in from Rome to do this right now, but
right,
but there is a question here from somebody, because we're nearing the end here. But this is a question that, you know, is pretty much related to this. What is it like for an American director living and working in Rome? What are the challenges? What are the advantages?
The challenge is the language, maybe, I guess. I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm here as a choice. So the challenges are what makes it beautiful. You know, the language makes it beautiful. I mean, you heard Christina. I mean, she's talking to you in English. That's her fourth language. Okay. She speaks Russian. She speaks perfect Italian. She speaks Moldavian, her tongue. Okay. Willem really speaks Italian well. Me, not so well, but it's a film community. It's a loving place. It's a place where work really counts. You know, you could just see the walls. I mean, you could just see the color, the lighting in the street, everything that makes it aware. And then the idea of being a filmmaker, being an actor, being an artist in this town is just a wonderful, warm feeling. Not, you know, it's a little bit alien back where I'm from, but so I don't find it, you know, it's just it's a cool place to work.
Are you ever going to make another New York movie, you think?
If the idea can, you know, I'm a slave to what, you know, what ideas come to me. You know what I mean, Sean? If the idea is to go like Siberia, to go to the top of a fucking mountain in 5 feet of snow, I'm fucking stuck with that. You know, I gotta go there. If it's gonna come back to me, something about New York, then I'll go. You know, I look forward to that. You know, I don't mind going back to New York. I'm just not crazy about living there. You know?
I understand. Me neither. So just a couple more things. We mentioned Siberia. When do you think that film will be able to be seen by U.S. audiences?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It's
going to open in Germany. They're going to open it in theater in Germany in like 2 weeks, okay. Which is kind of that's kind of crazy. You know, I don't know. From where I'm from, I think that's a little pushing it, but.
In 2 weeks, you mean?
I mean, everybody wants to open up and everybody wants to go for it, you know, so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point, right? I mean, it is. I mean, for me, I think the idea inside, I mean, it's been proven to me. I mean, think inside for length, any kind of duration is where you're going to be most, you know, susceptible.
Right.
You know, you're outside, it makes a little less. That's why all this protesting, all this shit, at least it's outside. Touching, listen, I wear rubber gloves. I wash my hands 100 times. You know, I'm in the wrong side of that graph. You know, right. This is like a different disease that I get. You know, I'm going to be 69, so I got to be. And I don't feel like dying. You know, after spending a lifetime trying to kill myself, I don't feel like dying tomorrow. So, or 3 weeks from tomorrow, after I feel like I've been waterboarded for 3 weeks and then die. But the idea inside for any duration of time, somebody in that room could be sick and a person you wouldn't even know was sick. I think things like planes, trains, restaurants, movie theaters, it's a fucking dangerous spot.
Yes.
But they're gonna try in a movie theater. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It seems like they've done it right in South Korea. You know, they never shut their theaters down, their cinemas.
Really?
No, and supposedly the cases did not come from that. It came more from a club that they had an incident with. But anyway, and then you have another film called The Projectionist. And I just wanted to, I know that Kino Lorber also picked that one up, and that's a documentary, right? Could you tell us a
Right.
little bit about that?
The documentary is about a theater owner named Nick who owns the Cinema Village.
Oh, cinema. Oh,
And
it
he's
is.
been
Okay.
showing movies, you know, in New York since 1975. All right, so he owns that theater. He also happens to own the building that theater's in, which I
Oh,
didn't know when we started shooting it. So I just thought he was like the kind of projectionist, but he's kind of a very, very interesting guy. And you know, we just started off like in most of our documentaries. When we start shooting, we don't even know what we're going to be shooting. I mean, that's
Yeah.
basically the deal. You know, we're going to
Yeah.
find out what the fuck is going on. I just thought, wow, he's a cool guy. His you know, his trajectory from 1975, and he's still in the business. He has a theater in Brooklyn, a theater in Queens, you know, beautiful old theater in Queens, that he's still there doing it, that it could be something about us and him and whatever, but it ended up being just about him. We have his friend, we have a mutual friend named Christos, who's produced Tommaso.
Yeah.
Okay, Constantinopoulos. He produced Tommaso, and he was involved in Siberia, and he's a good friend of his. And so he, you know, he financed this documentary. So, and it's about just the 70s, you know, about movies and how we saw movies and which movies, and it's all through his eyes, him talking. And he's, you know, it's an interesting documentary. But we have another documentary now we just shot that I'm editing now.
really?
Taking Siberia to Berlin, called called Sport and Life. And we, you know, it was crazy because we were shooting Berlin, which was February 24th. I mean, Siberia opened when we, you know, Berlin, it was like a theater with 2,000 people. You know, it was crazy. And it was a party, and we played music, and Willem sang, and we were doing all kinds. And we did, you know, the typical thing when you bring a film to a festival when it's in competition. But now this whole COVID thing is happening, so we're incorporating all of this into it. So
Interesting.
this is
Well,
gonna
I'm loving your doc.
play at Venice.
Got it. Well, I love your docs. I mean,
What?
I had to get an import of Napoli, and I love it.
Yeah, it's an
It
interesting
seems like it's a
film.
love letter to Eurocrime cinema. And now this film, you know, it sounds like it's a, you know, dream come true for cinephiles. I love documentaries about filmmaking. So looking forward to it.
Projectionist is yeah, check it out.
Yeah. Hopefully Kino puts that out soon as well.
Yeah, so shout out to Richard Lorber too for everything he's doing, you know.
Excellent. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up.
Dude, yeah.
Abel, thank you so much for doing
this.
You.
No, thank you, bro.
Yeah, man, a great film. Fucking great film. Oh, sorry. Great movie. And
all right, the baby's in the other room.
The baby's heard word.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Good luck. She's in the other room. Don't worry. You get it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Later, everybody. See Tommaso. And thanks for supporting Virtual Cinemas. Okay. Bye-bye.